Hey everybody, this incredibly unprofessional video filmed on a cell phone where you can see my fucking dining room wall and microwave and stuff all in the background is being done to respond to a comment that we received on part one of Senran Kagura Estival versus. The comment was left by Pedro M. Zamboni, and I know it's been a week, but I want you to know that we saw your comment. We have not been ignoring your comment. I personally have just been kind of busy. I do most of this stuff for the channel. James and Josh, they just record. They don't have the opportunity to be more active, though James would certainly like to, but that's not the point of the video. The point is to respond to your comment. The reason I'm doing it in video format is because I feel like that's more like you can convey more emotion through and sincerity through speech than you can text. So just because of the nature of the channel and because the channel is so small and truthfully we get so few comments, I felt that since yours seems to have a bit of a personal aspect to it, that I would personally make a video responding to it. So you commented on Senran Kagura Estival versus Part 1, Exposition Simulator, as I called it. And I'm going to try and address your points as best as I can, one by one. You said you have several problems with the video, which, first off, I'm terribly sorry you didn't enjoy the video. That's a bummer, but I can't force you to like things, so... how is the text at the beginning exposition at all? It doesn't at all talk about any of the story, nor does it provide any information that is useful to the story. So, truthfully, Josh and I didn't read any of that text, which I know is probably upsetting and annoying to you, but the fact is, Josh found, he told me he had somebody that had been, or he had seen Senran Kagura in the past and wasn't too keen on it, and then somebody had informed him of a very specific character in the game, Daidoji, and he saw that character. Hello, text message. See, completely unprofessional. And he saw that character and decided that maybe it was something he'd like to get into. So he, as we actually made an unboxing video for it, that if you didn't like this, you probably wouldn't like that. And I apologize for that. And in it, he said that when he bought that, he actually got the special edition. He ordered it. He got it for $40. Because it was priced so low, he thought that he was just getting the base game. He didn't realize he was getting the special edition. But so he bought it strictly to see more of Daidoji and see what Daidoji's all about. And we knew absolutely nothing about Senran Kagura as a series going into the video. So we, because we were doing a gameplay recording, we were eager to get into the gameplay. We were not prepared for that much text and backstory, or again, I will fully admit I didn't read any of it. We just weren't prepared for that much text at the very beginning. So that's why it may have come across like we didn't care. That's not the case. We were ready for gameplay and weren't prepared for that much text. Which brings me into your next point. You said trying to skip through that text helps to show that you guys are not watching the story with good faith in it being good. I'm sorry you feel that way, first off, and that's not entirely true. We're trying to skip through the text to get to the gameplay, because when you're doing a gameplay recording, having gameplay is inherently more interesting than having text. And because we were doing a recording, we didn't want to, I guess, and don't take my wording the wrong way, please. We didn't want to waste too much time, and that's what I mean by don't take my wording the wrong way, with the text. In hindsight is 2020, and we could have just read through the text, sat through it, and cut that entire part out of the video, which in the future we'll probably do for something like that. But then there may have been somebody else that, complained that we didn't. What would have happened is we would have had the exact same conversations that were left in the video, except they would have all been cut out. And so all of the gameplay elements, everything we said would have been near identical, and then there would have been a complaint that we didn't. Basically the same complaint. So it explaining my creative decisions, I guess you can call them, is difficult. And basically we just wanted to try and skip through it to get to the gameplay because it was a gameplay recording. I have to say here that I actually did think I did pay attention. I can't speak for Josh, I'm afraid. And what, not to all of it, I don't want to contradict myself. I realized moments ago I said I didn't pay any attention. I did pay attention to some of it. I have a rough understanding of the story, and it did sound very interesting. And that's not me being sarcastic or anything of that nature. It truly did sound like it might be something interesting that I may want to pick up later. Truthfully, anime and games of that nature are generally not my forte, not my area of expertise, not really my cup of tea. I don't have that many of them, and I don't spend that much time on them. And Josh is complete opposite. He is what you may call a connoisseur of these things. So he has probably played it much more since our recording, and we actually played it for several hours after we ended our recording, and we did thoroughly enjoy it. We enjoyed the game. Don't misunderstand. We did enjoy the game. All Senran Kagura fans out there, we enjoyed Estival versus Endless Summer Edition. There were things that we really, really liked, and there were things we didn't like all that much. But overall, we had fun. I think it's a good game. Again, I can't personally speak for Josh, but I believe he feels the same way. And like I said, we did play for several hours after we ended the recording, and we had fun, and I thought it was good. And from what I picked up on, because there was a lot to pick up on, with several characters, several plot points, but from what I picked up on, it did sound incredibly interesting, and I am very interested to see where it goes and how it ends. And I'm sorry you felt that we weren't watching the story with good faith in it being good. That was not the case, and I'm sorry you felt that way. Now, on my point about Josh being a connoisseur of anime, your next point is, how is using heterochromia for character design stupid in any way? It might not be innovative, but that doesn't imply it's bad design. It's the harmony and the combination of different features that uniquely compose the character that defines whether a character is good or bad, and not a single of these features. You can't simply dismiss the whole character design as bad just because it happens to have a feature you don't like, especially when you don't give any reason for not liking it. Now, that one is all on Josh, and your point is completely fair. I can't really answer that as well as it needs to be answered, I don't think, because, again, I can't speak for Josh's personal motivations, but I've known Josh for a very long time, and just from what I know of Josh, as I said, he has watched an uncountable amount of animes and played all manner of games of this nature, and for Josh personally, he doesn't have anything against people with heterochromia. He truly does not. I know it probably came across like that. Truthfully, it was more of an inside joke for us, and I know that's there is no real way to convey that in the manner that we did. Like, it did not at all come across that we were sharing an inside joke. But what it is in several animes that Josh has watched and games that he's played there have been several characters that he has disliked for reasons beyond heterochromia. He just didn't feel that they were good characters, but several of them had heterochromia in common, so I think the inside joke is kind of for him is that if a character has heterochromia, it's probably a shitty character. I'm not saying that those two sisters were bad characters or anything like that. I actually rather enjoyed their back and forth banter, and truthfully, they were both kind of out there to me. But I liked those characters from the brief time that I was able to see them in the recording. And I can't speak personally for Josh, but that's why he made the quip about heterochromia, strictly based off of his past experiences with characters that he is unhappy with, and they're having heterochromia. I apologize for that. I understand that an inside joke does not exactly come across. Let's see. And finally, a grudge I have with playthroughs of this game. What's wrong with being a masochist? Why do you think there is something wrong with Riona when she acts as a masochist? I agree Riona is not the most faithful representation of a masochist in real life. She has a very exaggerated personality. But that doesn't mean you may just label a set of people as if there is something wrong with them just because they like something most people don't. So about that character, that's not at all what we meant. We're not trying to throw anybody that enjoys masochism under the bus. It was exactly as you said in your comment. She's not the most faithful representation of a masochist. Her personality is very exaggerated, and again, as being two people that were completely new to the series, I up front, all cards on the table, have no knowledge of whether or not she was in previous titles or what have you. But just, again, being completely new to the entire Senran Kagura series and having that be one of the first two characters that we're introduced to, was truly, for me personally, just like a left hook. I was completely unprepared for it. I was completely unprepared to deal with it. As the game progressed, she grew on me a lot more, and things settled down a little bit, and I got more used to her personality, and everything was fine. But being completely new to the series and having that thrown at me was, it just caught me incredibly off guard, and I'm sorry if you felt like we were putting down people that are masochistic or enjoy masochism. I'm a firm believer in people being allowed to live their life their way, with no judgments. There are a lot of things that I personally don't agree with, but I always try my best not to put other people down for having beliefs different from mine, or having, I don't know, we'll say, interests or kinks different from mine. That's just silly to do things like that, to put people down, I mean. So that was not the intention, and I'm sorry if you felt that was the intention. It was just, again, being completely new to the series, it was it's just incredibly surprising. Yeah. And you finish with saying, of course, you don't have to give me any satisfaction about those things. After all, you don't owe me anything. But I feel like there's a lot of room for discussion with this game, so I hope you do reply. I'm open to different opinions, and I'd like to discuss. So yeah, I appreciate your comment. I am sorry that you didn't enjoy our video. I will honestly say, if you didn't enjoy this, I don't think you're going to enjoy the few other episodes of Senran Kagura that are coming in the future. However, though, I do hope that this has satisfied your questions. I'm also open to debate, especially civil debate like this one. And I also hope that maybe you can find something else on the channel that you might be able to enjoy. Maybe you just don't like us and our personalities, and that's completely fine. But I do actually appreciate your comment. I appreciate the feedback. It's always good to have, especially well thought out feedback like yours was. It's always good to have that, be it good, bad, critical. And I wanted, because we get so few comments, I noticed yours immediately when you commented, and I know it probably feels like we've been ignoring you, but we haven't. I noticed yours immediately when you commented, because we receive so few comments and because the channel is so small. So that's why I wanted to make this video as opposed to typing out my comment, because it's a little bit more personal, and maybe you can. I hope the sincerity comes across. Excuse me, in my voice better than it would over the internet, like from in text. But that's basically all I have to say. Feel free to reply to this video. I lost my train of thought. Yes, feel free to reply to this video, and we can continue the conversation. Any replies that I have for you from here on out will be through text, and I hope you believe that any reply that I have from here on out is with the same sincerity that this video, I hope, conveyed. And again, I am sorry that you didn't enjoy it. That sucks, but again, I can't force you to like our content, and you are well within your rights to dislike it. That's perfectly fine. But I do hope that there is maybe something else on the channel that you enjoyed or can enjoy, and if not, that's perfectly fine. So yeah, anyhow, that is that's the end of this one. Again, I hope that this answered all of your questions satisfactorily, and I hope that we can make a regular viewer out of you. If not, that's perfectly fine. And beyond that, I hope you have a fantastic, just a fantastic rest of the year. So that's it. That's the end of this one. See all of you in whatever video comes next. Goodbye.